Yeah, I want to cover neutral game now. So, let me turn off all this stuff. So after all the setups and all the other stuff, we're going to talk about neutral game and strategy, right? So, anyway, at around this space in the game, when the game starts off, right? When you're stuck in this at game start right here, where both players are starting a round, and it says round start. The best option I would say for Nash to do is to either block or medium Sonic Scythe or Sonic Boom. Not Sonic Boom at this range. Maybe a bit backdash Sonic Boom. There we go. Backdash Sonic Boom is probably better. But you can mix it up with a little bit of that. You could do medium Sonic Scythe. You can stand still, or you can backdash and do heavy Sonic Boom. Right? Sometimes, for most of my matches, I know I backdash and do heavy Sonic Boom, so I can see what they do to it to force reactions immediately. But the best option is to stand still. I say this because the thing about Nash is that you see all these normals are like, when you space them out, they're really good. Crouching medium kick is a great poke tool. At max range, a lot of your buttons are safe, right? Your command normals are good enough to where you can keep people out. But for the most part, standing still and doing nothing, you could wait for them to have a reaction. And standing medium punch is really good for this, because you can cancel standing medium punch and it goes pretty far. So like, let me have Balrog do standing heavy punch. I believe that's what it is. Standing heavy punch. Right? Oh, let me have him do that again. Right? Standing heavy punch. He has standing heavy punch, right? It's one of his farther reaching normals. But let's say you're standing here and you're playing neutral space, and you're at this range where Nash is like really good. Whoops. So, essentially speaking, right, you can whiff punish really good at this range. Like, at this range, standing medium punch is really good if they try to throw out a button. And, like, you can whiff punish a lot of things after they come out, which is why most people will not press, like, super heavy normals or try to outspace Nash at the start, because this is legit. This is legit where Nash shines. The mid-range game. I know Travalama, it's a bad habit to start out doing medium kick Sonic Scythe, but what I'm trying to get at here is with medium kick Sonic Scythe, maybe the opponent will not expect you doing it. I'm not saying to start with this all the time, but it is an option. I'm not saying to start with this or start with this every time. It's just a habit that most Nashes end up doing. That's why I say standing still and doing nothing is probably one of the best things you could do, because your opponent is gonna press the buttons for you to punish them. Like you're at this range at the start of the round. If they press any button, it doesn't have to be Balrog, it could be any character. If they press a button that's long enough for my standing medium punch to reach, I'm going to be able to stuff that easily. This is what we call footsies. This is what we call footsies right here. Just knowing what your opponent might press at the beginning and what their habits are in the neutral space. And because of that, you can dominate mid-range. That's what Nash is all about. Whoa. Wrong thing. There we go. That's what Nash is all about, dominating mid space and making it very hard for your opponent to get in. So, exactly, you want to buffer medium punch into Sonic Scythe, like, a lot, to stop a lot of approaches. Like, if, let's say, like, the opponent gets tired and he starts walking forward towards you. Like, let's say he starts walking forward towards you. Right? And he tries to walk back. You can't even walk forward on this guy. I mean, granted, nobody's gonna walk forward for that long, but... But, like, you can stop approaches immediately. Look at that. If you know that they're gonna walk forward or dash forward... Whoops. And just a slight walk, which is good about Nash's movement speed. Most Nashes when they start out, they just dash all over the place and forego neutral game. They'll boom, dash, jab, boom, forward, dash, like, they'll forego it. But even though Nash has a slow walk speed, he has those micro walks because of that walk speed to be able to adjust to put himself in that distance. Because look, if I'm standing here, right here, if I know he's gonna dash if I know he's gonna walk immediately, right, like that, and my reaction is there, I'm not at the right place to stop his dash, to stop his walk. But if I walk slightly forward, look at that, I reach immediately. Oh, whoops. I reach immediately. Whoops. I reach immediately. So that's the purpose of Nash's walk speed. Even though it's slow, you are able to play a mid-range game. Right? You're able to play a good mid-range game because your normals are so good to be able to whiff punish normals. And it doesn't have to be Balrog, it could be any character. It could be any character. Standing medium punch buffer medium Sonic Scythe is really good. And medium Sonic Scythe at max range is safe. So when you use that, yeah, Nash is the best character to punish by buffering, yes. So, exactly. Like, medium punch hits so far. You can stop a character like Alex. Like, let's say Balrog is like, fuck this, I'm going in. I'm gonna go in. Like, let's say Balrog wants to go in. So he dashes up, he does something like that. Maybe something like that. Or he tries to stagger jab maybe. That's better actually. Like, let's say he tries to dash up afterwards. Like, no way. Whoops. Whoops. Oh man. Look at that. I even whiff punished his jab. But when he dashes up, when people like to dash up like that, you can use standing medium punch and just buffer that shit anyway in medium kick Sonic Scythe. Like, this guy plays mid-range really, really well. Like, that's his game plan. To get you in this scenario where your buttons have a lot of advantage to them. So your strategy is to either keep this, most aggressive Nashes at early round start, right? So let me put everything to normal, right? So at round start, when nobody has anything, right? You know, you want to be aggressive, but you don't want to end up doing something negative, like jumping in and doing a combo. No, don't circumvent neutral game. Your buttons are good for that. Your buttons are good enough to space things out. So don't jump in and forego it. Sometimes you could do it, but don't always do it. Play mid-range, because once you're in, that's a lot of pressure your opponent has to deal with. Now your opponent's like, damn, you're trying to punish me, so I'm gonna either come in, I'm gonna sit there and wait for you to press something that I can whiff punish, you know? So that's the whole mind game behind Street Fighter, is just being able to read what your opponent is doing, and being able to see whether or not your opponent's going to be pressing a specific button. If you're looking for a specific button, or you're not looking, if you're looking for a specific button, you're not looking for any other buttons that they might try to press. What you should be doing is reading their habits and seeing when they press a specific button. When they press a button that can be whiff punished. And your standing medium punch is so good at doing that. You have your command normals to check their approaches too, which I've shown already. Crouching medium kick is really good as a poke tool for that. Same with forward heavy kick, especially because this is safe, especially at max range. This is safe even if it's up close, it's -2. And this is -4, but it's safe at max range. You can't cancel it, but you stop approaches, and it puts them back to the neutral space. It pushes them back to the neutral space, where your buttons are all good again. What are they gonna press at this range? What can they press at this range? They're gonna get stuffed. So, yeah, that's the mid-range game. He's really good at the mid-range game. When he's up close like this, and he's chucking boom, and he's chucking boom at full screen, right? You know, this is also good. Because how are they gonna get in? They're gonna get frustrated. This is the lame style of play, right? When your opponent, alright, so let's say your opponent has, like, they have all that resource. Are you gonna want to go in? Like, do you really want to go in? The thing about Nash is that he has a tough time setting up these tick throw situations. Especially with that dash and walk speed of his. In order to set up a throw situation, you have to walk forward. And that means you could get jabbed. Like, let's put him to block, right? Let me put him to guard all, and then afterwards have him jab. Yeah, let's have him jab afterwards. Look, I can't tick throw. Even if I try to grab from that distance.
2, 3.
Oh, OG Bad Karma, thank you for following. Travalama, thank you for following too. But yeah, like, as you can see, you know, I can't grab him. Tick throws aren't gonna work as easy. Not with that abysmal walk speed up close like that. That walk speed, again, is meant to be able to adjust his position ever so slightly to make sure that he can whiff punish properly, right? So that's the mid-range, and then of course you don't want to be up in front when they have resources, because then you end up negative, and then they get a free punish. Like Balrog can just do a target combo for free. And it's just up close when your opponent has this much resources over you is just not a good thing. And if you have the lead, if you have the life lead or whatever, and you don't want to go in and they have mad resources, just chuck boom, chuck boom, chuck boom, force them to react. If you're from this range, right, and you've been walking them down, or well, not walking them down, but if you've been like walking and you've been using your normals ever so slightly, you know, and throwing boom, then they're gonna want to jump at some point because you're throwing so much shit on screen. So let's have the computer jump, right? So he's jumping, right? He's jumping, right? After all these booms you've chucked, he's finally like, I don't like this. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna make sure that you mess up your boom timing. Because remember what I said about having, you can only have one boom on screen. I tried to throw a heavy boom just now, but look at that. It messed up. All because I was trying to play a zoning game. So, this is why you throw heavy sonic boom. The dash. I've expressed this already before, but look at that. Look at that. Just because he wanted to jump. I follow behind the boom and he wants to jump now, right? He wants to jump, right? But look at that. I can anti-air him. And sometimes if they don't jump properly, they'll get anti-aired by the boom. But look at that. You can anti-air him with literally anything you want to. It doesn't have to be crouching medium punch. In some matchups, it doesn't work. Like Alex, his jumping heavy kick is a horizontal hurt box, so it's not gonna hit a low-profile crouching medium punch right away. So maybe standing heavy kick might be better. So like, it might be better to do standing heavy kick against him, or it might be better to, you know, to do neutral jump heavy kick. Whoops. See, it might be better to do that. Other times it might be better to bazooka knee. It's a situational anti-air. There's multiple ways to stop opponents from jumping. Like, whoops. You have multiple ways to stop your opponent from jumping. And because this heavy sonic boom right here, you could dash behind it, it forces them into a situation that makes it very difficult for them to just sit still. And even if they do, now you're in their face. And you could end into a safe string. Right? Of course, with all those resources, it might be difficult to want to do that. It might be more of a risk. But again, when you're zoning and you see that they're getting tired of it and frustrated and they want to jump, you need to use your anti-airs. That's just the basic tools. Yup, Haney Nash is right. Nash is all about ground game. All about ground game. He wins ground game, and that's what makes him so strong. He's so safe on the ground. So, like, you don't have to jump all the time. You could stick to the ground and see what they're doing. So that's max. That's at full screen when you're away from them, and that's mid range where I discussed in the beginning. Best way to punish a jump in after a boom. So the thing about Sonic Boom, at this range, they can immediately just. So let me have Balrog jump. Let me have Balrog jump. Oh, whoops, wrong jump in. There we go. So let's have Balrog jump in, right? That should be close enough for him to be able to jump in from my boom, right? See? Immediate jump in. Immediate punish. Immediate punish. Whoops. Immediate punish. I can't anti-air as fast. Like, well, that was because I already knew. I have to wait for the second jab. But in that situation, like, he's gonna punish me because of the recovery at that range. I cannot throw a boom at round start range. That's why you have to backdash. That's why you have to backdash or walk back. Because if you throw a boom here, you're gonna get punished. So walk back. Walk back and use your boom as an anti-air. It's a shield practically. So basically speaking, if you throw a boom and you're at this range, you're gonna get punished. You have to back away before you can throw any boom. Your safest boom is heavy boom. So, like, if you throw any other boom out, you can still get punished because of the recovery. Look at that. He hasn't even cocked his hand back. I can't do anything. I have to take the hit. Heavy boom is your safest boom because of the recovery and the frame advantage. But there's massive startup. And if they read that startup, you're gonna get hit. So you cannot be at that range throwing boom. And it's not good to do it at round start. I've expressed that already. So, yeah. If you throw a boom, right? If they jump in on you after you've thrown a boom from maybe around here, right? The boom itself, if you threw heavy boom, should anti-air, right? But if it doesn't anti-air, let's say you threw medium boom, right? And even that medium boom at that distance away can like anti-air. Like, if you see a jump in and it's close enough, like, they're gonna want to jump because, and you can just anti-air with crouching medium punch. The best way to stop jump-ins, I've expressed, is crouching medium punch. Of course, some characters, like Balrog, as you can see here, I can't anti-air right away. I have to wait to anti-air. If I anti-air too soon, he's gonna punish me. He's gonna punish me. And if I anti-air too late, well, you already know what happens, kiddos. We trade. So, it's good. You have to know your timings. And other characters, crouching medium punch might not work. So, standing heavy kick is a better option. Even if you get the trade, like, whoops. Even if you get the trade, standing heavy kick is just better. Remember, you also have an air throw to stop jump-ins. But I've expressed countless times, like, you even have an air-to-air. You even have an air-to-air. So, just remember that. See, you even hit him in the air for throwing that heavy kick. The jumping heavy kick. So, yeah, that's how you stop people from jumping in when you throw boom. You throw boom at the right spaces. You throw boom at the right spaces, not up close over here at round start. The only time you want to be throwing heavy boom is either up close in their face, where they're scared, or far away, where they must dash up. So, yeah, where they must dash. Like, you have to do it either far away, where you can dash up behind it and be safe, or up close where you're safe. If you do it at mid-range, if you do any boom at mid-range, you're susceptible to eat a jump in. So, just understand that. Also, I expressed how unearthly this move is because you can punish it. You can punish it. Not unearthly, but how horrible this move is in the neutral game. Don't use moonsault in the neutral game. Just because it goes mad far and takes mad space doesn't mean it's good. The reason why is because I've shown before how it can be anti-aired. So don't just throw moonsault. A lot of Nashes like to throw, boom and then do moonsault. And I'm like, your opponent has so much time still to do what they want. They have so much time. Because your moonsault doesn't even hit. All you're doing is covering ground, which is somewhat good. But if they know that, they're just gonna... Balrog has a V skill to go through that. Like... Whoops. Well, I'm pretty bad. There we go. Yeah. Balrog has his KKB to go through your fireball. Yeah, he has a KKB to go through your fireball. So, the main problem is I'm throwing light boom. So what do you want people to do to close the gap? So, if you want to... That's the thing about neutral game. You close the gap... Okay, you close the gap by doing one of two things. You throw heavy boom and dash behind it as a shield to force a reaction. You're not trying to persist to close a gap. It's fine. You're Nash. Why do you want to close a gap? Why do you want to be aggressive? You don't have to be aggressive. He can play aggressive, but that's not where his strength lies. Like, you can use this to close the gap, yes, and force a reaction, but why would you give up all the space that you have? Why would you give up all the space that you have to control your opponent at mid-range? And at this range, at round start range, why do you need to even worry about closing the gap? You have normals. You have normals to whiff punish them. You have normals to whiff punish them, so that way when you do happen to get them, you can start your stupid set play. So let me have Balrog again do Standing Fierce. Let's say this Balrog is stupid and you can't deal with Standing Fierce, right? Whoops. Let's say you can't deal with that, right? And you want to close the distance. I immediately showed you that you have Standing Medium Punch, right? Immediately after Standing Medium Punch, you go into Medium Sonic Sight because of how far you are. You can't go into Heavy Sonic Sight. Not at this range because it'll whiff. Same with Light. You can't do anything off of it. You have to do the Medium Sonic Sight because it puts him forward. But the thing about it... Whoops. You have Moonsault. Look at that. Look at that. Can't press buttons on that. So, you can close distance with Moonsault after you've gotten the knockdown. Like, they can anti-air, of course, but not at that situation, because they're still getting up. They're still gonna have to get up. They still are gonna have to get up. And even so, you don't even have to follow them. Throw the Light Sonic Boom! Throw Light Sonic Boom! Like, legit, just take that. They've lost so much space because of this. They've lost so much space merely because they tried to play a ground game with you. And now you have all the space again. Is Light Sonic Scythe ever a good opener? Why would you open with this? Why would you initially open with this? You can whiff punish with it, sure. I mean, it's risky as balls, but sure. Like, you can open with it. It's an option. Is it a good option? It's a good opener? It's all up to the neutral. For the most part, I don't think it's a good opener when you have your normals. Your normals. I want to keep reiterating, you have your normals to whiff punish. You have your normals to whiff punish in mid-range. Why am I talking about mid-range still? This is like the one thing that Nash wins at. This is what makes Nash Nash. Mid-range. This is all how he plays. This is how he plays. This is how he wins. Mid-range. Throwing booms. Playing lame. Using his normals to eventually push them to the corner. If you can't tell, look at that. Immediately needy because of set play. And I'm right. I have him to the corner. I have him in the corner where I want him. Look at that. It doesn't matter. Look at that. What is he going to do with all this pressure? And then you have Heavy Sonic Boom, EX Sonic Boom. Look at that. No, you're not frustrating me. You're not frustrating me at all, Fizz Icon. You're asking the good questions. I'm just letting you know how this neutral game should be played. At least from my perspective. So yeah, that's what you want to do with Nash in mid-range and long range. Like long range, you want to throw boom, force them to come in. If they ever decide to jump in, another good jump in, by the way, if they ever plan to do jump in. Whoops. If they do ever plan to jump in because they're aggravated, let me give myself meter. So, you have EX Sonic Scythe. This is probably like one of your best anti-airs. his upper body invincibility. Look at that. He stuck his fist out, and it didn't matter. It did not matter. I have upper body invincibility, or upper body invulnerability. And if you have V-trigger, oh my god. Look at how low that hit. Look at that. I mean, you can't do anything else after, but it's alright. Like, you can punish them. Yeah. This is the hardest. Yeah, this is one of the hardest playstyles, is to control neutral. You have to control neutral, which means you have to anticipate what your opponent is trying to do and punish it. It's one of the hardest, I think one of the hardest concepts about Street Fighter. In my opinion, I think it's one of the hardest concepts that people don't seem to take for granted. I mean, people seem to take for granted. You have to control neutral space with this character. And it's very hard to do so, by the way, in a game, in my opinion, where jump-ins are ever prevalent, because the risk-reward on them is very low on the risk and very high on the reward for people jumping in. So, well, you can backdash and do it again after. Yeah, of course. But that's what I mean. Another anti-air, by the way, is standing medium punch. I know I didn't discuss this much, but standing medium punch into target combo light kick, oh man, look at that. Look at that. I automatically get a side swap because they decided to jump in because they got infuriated. I mean, I can't do anything after it, but unless the opponent knows that I'm going for that side swap and they mash jab, you know, they're going to be startled. It's a very situational anti-air, but it's a good one. So, yeah, like, you have to control it. So now I'm going to move myself to the corner. And I'm going to have him block. Right? So around this range right here is where Nash, a lot of people are like, oh, Nash is so safe. Like, I can't deal with him. Oh man. Oh man, so much pressure. So much pressure. So much pressure. All those numbers are so godlike. I don't know what to do. Oh my god, and then he's up close, and he's doing heavy punch sonic boom, heavy punch sonic boom, heavy punch sonic boom, and it's just like, you can jab me, can't you see? You trade. I know it's still not good, like, I know it's still not good, but you could trade with my heavy sonic boom. Like, take your turn, even if you're taking damage, like, make sure that you push yourself out the corner to all those that are like, oh, I can't deal with heavy punch sonic boom. If it's spaced out, then yeah, it becomes an issue, especially if meatied, but, like, look at that. He punished me before my boom came out. He punished me before my boom came out, man. Like, you have to understand that, man. So, yeah, man, like, just, see, look, that was a bit more difficult, because I spaced it out, and I did medium. I did the medium version. That's another thing I want to let you guys know. When you have them in the corner like this, don't just do heavy boom. Like, I know it's safe, but mix it up. Do standing heavy. Do standing medium punch boom. No, I mean, do medium punch boom, medium strength boom. Like, hit them out of their normal so they don't punish you. Make sure they can't take their turn. Mix that shit up, right? And then when you have them blocking like this is the craziest thing in the world to me. Like, let me show you. This is the craziest thing in the world. When you get away with stuff like this, it boggles my mind, because it's like, can't you just jab me? Can't you just jab me? Like, but nobody wants to think about that. They're so scared with trying to press a button to trade with you. Like, come on, man. Like, when you block the boom, you're -2. So of course you can't press a button afterwards. But when I'm up in your face and I do heavy boom at the start, like, jab me, man. But then the whole mind game comes like, oh, you're gonna jab me, I'm just gonna do light or medium sonic boom, or I'm gonna do EX sonic boom. And then now, whatever you were trying to punish me with doesn't work. So yeah, Nash is very safe. So a lot of people, once they get hit with this initially, it's like, oh, it's now it's free reign. Now it's free reign. Now it's free reign. And all I'm doing is just canceling heavy punch, heavy boom. Heavy punch, heavy boom. Light punch, heavy boom. Medium punch, heavy boom. Crouching medium kick. Now I'm back at my distance again. Now I'm back at my distance again to play my ever so prevalent ground game where you get impatient and press buttons, and then I press medium punch and I whiff punish you and put you back in the corner and yet again do this nonsense. This song and dance. So it's just like, when people talk crap because it's like, I can't deal with the -2 situation, why put yourself in that situation? Jab check me, man. Jab check all of that. Jab check me beforehand. What makes that difficult is the 8 frames. That's the one thing that makes that difficult. It's so hard because of the input delay to press a button right then and there. But Balrog is able to jab me beforehand. Right? EX Boom now. So, we discussed how EX Boom works, right? How you get that cross up and whatnot. But EX Sonic Boom is also good for simple shit. So, if you do EX Boom, you're +2, right? You're +2 on block. That means you can press another button. It could be crouching jab because it's 4 frame startup. It could be, you know, back medium kick because it's 5 frame startup, and now it becomes 3 frame. You know, you can set up a mind game where it's like you can frame trap them with that, and then go right back into I can't deal with -2 situations and stopping a 20 plus startup move. You go right back into that. And then, like, another thing is you mix up your lows when you have them pressured like this, when you're deep in their face, right? See, look at that. You do, my bad. You do crouching light kick, crouching light punch, heavy boom, standing heavy punch boom, standing medium punch boom, or you could do crouching light punch again. My bad. Whoops. See, like, all that stuff. So, yeah, like, you can create pressure, but the thing is that that pressure is not necessarily all safe if your opponent knows to press a button during your 20 frame startup move, this heavy sonic boom, right? And then, again, that's why you mix it up with EX sonic boom. So you could be like, whoops, I'm messing up. Wow, I'm ending farther. But, like, see, you could mix it up and throw booms and then create a mind game because it's +2. And if they press a button, then they're gonna definitely get punished. So, like, that's the whole thing. Like, people are scared of this situation right here because it just feels like an infinite block string when it's really not. Like, that is a true block string. So, you know, you have that. Now, if they do press a button, right? Let's say you get a crouching medium punch, right? So let's say you do crouching medium punch, right? And a sonic boom. Whoops. And a heavy sonic boom like this, right? You can mix it up and do EX sonic boom instead. And if they press a button, right, and they get hit by, if they get hit by the sonic boom, the second sonic boom, you're +1. Which means if they try to press a button afterwards, it won't work. So what you normally see me do on a constant, right, is you will see me do... Let's see. Let me have him guard. And let me set his guard recovery to stand jab. Sometimes you will see me do... There we go. Sometimes you'll see me do... You'll see me do crouching medium. You'll see me do after the EX Sonic Boom. If they're... Because I'm +1 after this. I could trade with a 3-frame normal, but sometimes I'll get away with a counter hit. So let me have him do a 4-frame. It doesn't work easily on 3-frame. That should be 4-frame. That's a stand jab. So you'll see me do something like that, right? They can't press buttons. If they're a 4-framer, they can't press buttons on that. And then they get put back into that whole situation of now now I have to deal with heavy Sonic Boom. Because then they block the overhead and I'm +1, right? And that's making use of my counter hit jab. Because I know my counter hit jab goes into crouching medium punch on counter hit. And then I go right into the overhead. And then from the overhead on the hit confirm, I do crouching jab because I'm still at the space at which I can press it. And I do heavy Sonic Boom, and heavy Sonic Boom actually becomes plus because I recover in time. Whoops. My bad. See? So, yeah, like, that pressure game is really hard to deal with. And then you have... You can cancel from your jabs into EX Sonic Boom. And from there, you can actually get a sweep afterwards. I believe so. Well, if you space it. Yeah, if you space it, you can actually get the EX Sonic Boom. But again, this is off of you doing stuff like conditioning your opponent to think that they can press a button after this. Because if you get to that stage in the block string, right, you can mix it up between heavy Sonic Boom or EX Sonic Boom, and if they press a button, you can sweep them. And it can create frame traps and stuff. So, yeah, man, like, when you have them pressured, it's the boom pressure that they're worried about the most. Because there's a lot of safe stuff. It's a lot of hard reactable stuff. And then, of course, you know, once Nash gets a proper hit, let me have him do his little... Let me turn this thing on. So, like, once I get a proper hit... Whoops. Not bad. Once I get a proper hit, now I'm able to go into all this nonsense. Now I'm able to go into all that nonsense once I get an actual hit. So, it's like, people are scared of getting into that situation. That's basically the entire pressure game for Nash. You get to that point where your opponent is so scared. And then sometimes, like, you don't even have to, like... You don't even have to do anything. You just throw. It should work. You just throw afterwards because you get put with so much advantage. And they're going to be scared to press a button because you're, like, +2. And so because you're +2, whoops, okay. Because you're +2, you can mix up between jab or throw. So you open up your opponent. That's what you need to do. you need to open up your opponent by reading their habits, and the only way you do that is by playing that ground game with Nash. So I think that's the neutral for the most part with this character. One last thing. When you're... Okay, I didn't cover defense. I covered offense. I covered offense. I covered defense. I covered a bit of defense, but not all of defense. I covered offense and mid-range. And I also covered zoning, which is a part of defense. Okay, so this is the other part of defensive. When you're in the corner. When you don't have your opponent in the corner, when he has you in the corner. Right? He has you in the corner, right? And you're not at the particular range. He's rushing you down or whatever. Block. I swear to God, I see so many Nash just trying to do V-trigger to get out, do some way to get out right away. I swear to God, just block. Like, if you're in this scenario, the only thing you have to interrupt whatever your opponent does is critical art. And while it's invincible, and while it, you know, if they jump or whatever, you can do it to get out. It's at this distance, like you're throwing a Hail Mary right there. If you're blocking, right? If you're blocking, what's up? Let me see. I forget what move for Balrog is -2. But that's where back medium kick comes in. Because if you block a -2 move, and they try to press a button after that -2 move, you get back medium kick, right? Let me figure out. I need to figure out his -2 move. He should have some form of a -2 move. I don't play Balrog often. I play against him. Let's see. Oh, his dash short, his dash under should be -2 actually. So let me have him do that. And crouching short afterwards, right? If all goes well, I should be able to. Yep, that's -2 because he did jab, crouch jab. That's 4 frame. Let me have him do standing light kick instead. That seems better. Okay, there we go. So he does EX dash punch. Oh, that's 3 frames. So that means that must be... There we go. That's still -2, yeah. So... Yeah, if you're blocking, if you're blocking like your opponent's pressure or whatnot, and they throw out a -2 normal, you go back medium kick if they decide to press, you know, their 3 frame jab to oppress you. Even though they're -2 and they press a jab, right? They press or rather in this case he presses stand short, Balrog. Even though he presses stand short and it's 3 frame, he's -2, which means your back medium kick will stuff him out. Right? This is all stuff that I've discussed earlier. And in defense, this is really important. Because, yeah, like, back medium kick is really good for this type of situation if you're stuck in the corner. Especially against characters like Rashid, who has that -2 tornado thing. If he does that little spinning mixer, there we go. If he does the spinning mixer, that's -2 on block. And if he tries to press another button, you could back medium kick the button he presses. Because they'll hit on the same frame. And voila, just like that, you've told him to get off of you. You've told him to get off of you, and you've built space for yourself because he got too impatient, and now you have some space. So, 3 God, you came mad late. So, when you're in the corner too, and you're blocking pressure, right? Don't just, you know, wait for V-trigger, right? Don't wait for V-trigger. Don't just wait for V-trigger. Do reversal out. But not then. Do it during the -2. Do it during the -2. And there you go. You're out of the corner for free. You're out of the corner for free. Again, don't do it when they press the light jab. Like, don't do it here. When if he does the 3 frame normal, that's a light normal. Don't V reversal there. V reversal during a move with more recovery or a move that's -2. Like, he can't grab you. He can't do anything to stop your V reversal in that situation, and you're out of the corner. So it's very good to remember that. Don't just wait for V trigger, right? V trigger is also good to get out the corner, right? It's also good, but it's not as safe as people think, only because the opponent can bait out whatever side you decide to go across. Like, see? He could bait it out and just straight up punish you. So, like, it's just a matter of knowing your resources that are not V-Trigger, that are not CA, that are not EX Sonic Scythe. EX Sonic Scythe is not even good on defense. Don't just do that. Don't just do these things. Just block, right? And wait for an opportunity to leave. Or you can whiff punish. Like, if you see he's oppressing you, like, if you see he's oppressing you and whatnot, like, if he's trying to do stand jab or whatever, right? I mean, not stand jab, if he tries to do short, into standing, heavy kick or standing roundhouse, right? If he does that, whiff punish him. Whoops. Like, whiff punish him. Wait for him to whiff the normal. Look at that. I'm hitting your hurt box. I'm hitting your hurt box even though you still haven't come all the way back. Look at that. And make sure to get your confirms on point. You don't have to buffer just medium kick. Whoops. Oh, I messed up. That should work. Oh, probably at a closer range. No, it doesn't. Oh, there it goes. And now, look at this. The tables have turned. The tables have turned. Because you've whiff punished him. And you've waited till you were able to do something about his normals. Like, there will always be a situation for you to get out of the corner, so long as you just be patient and wait. So yeah. Later, Haney Nash. I'm pretty much done though, for the most part. So yeah, that's him on defense. So yeah, that's really it. That's all of what I have to say about Nash. Basically Nash, as a character, he is a very defensive character. You can play Rushdown with him, but it is not easy. It is not as easy as people think it is. It's better to play a defensive ground game where you're being patient, looking at the other character's normals, and being able to punish your opponent's options. Again, I want to reiterate that he's a very defensive character. He's not a character that can easily deal with pressure. Once he's being pressured, he has to wait a really long time before he gets to play. And without the resources to do so, if he doesn't have V-Trigger, he must block. If he doesn't have any V-Gauge, he must block. And wait for his turn, and wait for the opportunity to play. Like, the only other situation, which is even then still pretty risky, is if they're pressuring you like this, and you're still in the corner and you just want to get out, right? This is not legit pressure, but this is just seeing whether or not your opponent tries to whiff something, or if they try to dash in, or whatever. Moonsault out of there, man. Whoops. Moonsault out of there. You still have time to block. You actually don't recover as... See, look at that. You don't recover as slowly as you think. Moonsault is good to get out of the corner with it. So you have ways to escape the corner too. So it's not just D-trigger all day. So it's not just doing that all day. So yeah, man, that's pretty much Nash. That's all about Nash that I can cover. I know this stream was really long. I started from 6. It's practically 6 hours worth of information that I'm going to have to break down. So I'm glad that everybody who was able to come through was able to learn something. And were able to add in what they wanted to add in. And yeah, I believe that's it for the most part. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So